getting started. Oh, all right. So it's not letting me post. Gonna wait a few moments for people to get on. There we go. Okay. A little delay there in the action. So just hanging back a little bit to see if I'm set up correctly on my end. It looks like it. The Wi-Fi seems to be going in and out, and hopefully that is... My messages are not, it looks like my messages are not going to Facebook. I'm going to check to see if I can receive. Okay, so, so Kayla. Kayla, okay, good. So I can see stuff on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, so that's good. So we're going to take a brief moment. So hi, Catherine, yay. Welcome, good to see you. To get started, I'm going to read my little disclaimer. So today is March 3rd. My name is Marianne Carduner with Unbounded and Free. I'm not a medical doctor or therapist. I don't diagnose, prescribe, or heal. I can scan you for your frequency and energy patterning and tell you what I see. So please consult a doctor or therapist for professional advice. And all content is protected by copyright, and you may not use this content in any shape or form without my written permission. So get that out of the way here. Okay, so we're going to get started, and let's just take a deep breath in and settle in wherever we are. So just allowing yourself to kind of relax a little bit more. And taking one or two deep breaths and letting yourself really take a deep breath, come to the top of the breath and hold it, and then release it out. And you probably might feeling yourself kind of relaxing a little bit more, maybe like a little heaviness kind of coming around. And that's like just coming into more the present moment, becoming more aware, and more present moment, more aware, more not in the past, not in the future, your mind going all over the place, but really relaxing. You know, that's that feeling you go on vacation, and there's always that first day of vacation where you kind of go nuts because it's like, yay, I'm away from work, whatever it is. And then there's maybe after a day, maybe a couple days, maybe just half a day or something, but all of a sudden you hit that place when you're on vacation, you just kind of like, and you just chill. So this is this feeling. So this is what this space is about, and coming into that chill, coming into that alignment of self even more strongly, really coming into your own being. A lot of us have a tendency to just kind of like stretch out. And part of that is like, you could be thinking, hey, Harold, nice to see you. Part of it could be that you're off thinking, you're there, you're focused, you're on your computer, you feel really present, but then your mind kind of like starts drifting off about something else. And so you start kind of pulling out of yourself, you know, instead of being right here, you're kind of going or ee. So let's take that time to really come into being, into alignment. And yeah, so I'm just kind of looking over the group here, and people are pretty balanced. I see a little bit of frazzle going on. Let's see. Part of that is that it's Harold, I think that's you that's coming through in particular, but that this is going to apply to all of us, really. Just the fray of what's around us. So you can be real calm and real centered, and unless you're used to really holding your own space, which most people are not, I mean, 100% and 100% of the time, then you're fine at home. But then when somebody comes in, or you get a call from someone, or you go out shopping, and then you've got all this craziness going on with the masks, with the and people being still very stressed out with COVID, and thinking they're only be safe if they get vaccinated. So there's and whatever else is going on, that's just an example, because that's been really at the forefront for people. So you can be pretty good by yourself, and then you step out, or you start interacting with somebody who might not be able to hold their space as well. And if you're not strong enough to just like always be right there for yourself 100% of the time, that might kind of start to pull a little bit. So I see that coming through, and that's kind of clearing up. So this is the reason for the space. You can come into the space. We're all kind of doing the same thing, and strengthen yourself. Learn to really kind of have that place where you can strengthen yourself and come into that alignment for yourself. Get that reflection going with other people, and be able to do it in that safe environment where everybody is kind of tuned in, looking in the same direction, having the same mindset kind of thing around that. So yeah, so that's kind of looking better. There's still some questions. I can feel some questions popping up for people. So if you have any questions around just like coming into alignment with yourself, what does that mean? Or I'm having problems with this right now, or what's keeping me from really coming into that alignment, feel free to post on the chat, because I will see it on my end, and then I can address it for you, and that will actually be beneficial for everyone. So yeah. So I'm feeling, I can they're kind of, I'm seeing, and I'm kind of sensing them coming up. There's stuff around relationship that's popping up to mind to me. So relationship, and intimate relationship in particular. So that can be one of the more challenging aspects of our life, because that's really the aspect of our life where we really go in very deeply, and that kind of gets into us at a much deeper level, because it really goes into those very deep patternings that we came in with so early on. That's just the nature of relationships, and especially intimate relationships, just take us deeper. So there's a little sense of frustration with that. So let's work on this piece. I feel all over the place. Oh, and flying on Friday. Yeah. So, all right. So, well, good. So this is a good place for you to be. We'll just kind of really kind of keep working at it. And it's always work in progress. So, so again, let's take a nice deep breath in. Let's start with a deep breath, really filling up the lungs as much as possible. And then releasing when you're ready to release. Yeah, we're gonna work on that grounding, Catherine. That's good you brought it up. You're in the right place too. So we're gonna work on this together. So usually if you're in anxiety, or if you're thinking about other things, if you've got things kind of turning around in the back of your mind, you're gonna be more up here, or higher up, floating off, depending on how far away it's taking you. But let's start with the head. So we're going to work on that grounding together. So another deep breath in. Hey, Bhavna. We got the whole gang is here. Yes, thanks for showing up. So we're just working on grounding here, and we're just going to work together as a group. So let's take a nice deep breath in, hold it, and then just release. And then just start noticing your head, coming into your head, noticing the top of your head. So if you want to touch, also that can be helpful, that tactile sense just to really bring your awareness there. And Catherine says, hi, Bob, and Kayla. She's over on YouTube. So start with the top of your head and feel that top of the head. And maybe even get into feeling the hair follicles. So really focus in on that. Yeah, just kind of exploring what it would feel like to feel those hair follicles. And so that's kind of an interesting feel. Notice your hairline on your forehead. Yeah, there you go. And your forehead. Notice how large or small your forehead is compared to the rest of your face. Everybody's got a different shaped face, and so the forehead will have either be larger or smaller. And just notice that. So kind of noticing from hairline to eyebrows, and then side to side, how that is. You know, and you might get a sense of the texture of your skin. And then going to the side of the head and wrapping around to the back of the head. So unless you're completely bald, if you're watching this, but and have no hair growth, but you know, if anybody who's shaving their heads, you know, there's still the hair follicles are still there, and if you're bald, then they're there but not active. So that's going to feel different. So just notice that. And then kind of let's melt down the back and the sides till we get to the top. So the top of the ears, and there's the top of the ears itself, but then there's down the inside towards this, and there's the where the ear attaches to the skull. And just kind of pay attention to that. And then moving forward to the temples. You know, are the temples indented, or are they a little bit more just straight? Yeah, it'll depend on the shape of your face. Your eyes coming into the eyelids, to the eyelashes, and maybe noticing the eyelids from the inside, and then also noticing them from the outside, so you can actually do both and explore that. There's a different texture, there's a different feeling to the external surface and then to the internal part of the eyelid. Coming into the bridge of your nose and the shape of your nose, you know, and as you come, so this is what I'm feeling, so I'll put that out there. It feels like I have a big nose, which I have, you know, probably medium-sized nose, but as you bring your awareness into something, all of a sudden you're really aware of it, and so it might feel bigger than what it actually is. But that's because all of a sudden your awareness is fully there. Notice your nose. Notice your cheekbones, your cheeks. You know, the shape of your cheeks, the shape of your bones, of the cheekbones, affect the shape of the cheek. So notice that. You know, are they more hollowed out? Are they fuller? And around the nostrils, coming into above the top lip. And if it's hot, you might feel a little damp there, or if it's humid. And then feeling your lips. And then there's this spot right below your lower lip that kind of dips in and then goes out, back out to the Lionel just joined us. Hello, Lionel, thanks for coming in. Then there's the chin. And then from the chin, you can go back, follow the jawline back up towards underneath the part of the ear and the earlobe. And how often do you put your awareness on your earlobe? And then moving to the back of the skull. And so kind of the occipital ridge of the skull. And moving into the back of the neck. So moving into, and then noticing the spine in there on the back of the neck. And then there's those muscles on either side. There's those muscles that kind of attach towards on the back side and then come forward to the front. So kind of cross over forward, becoming aware of that. And the front of the throat. So take a moment to just be aware of your whole head. So we'll just take our time with that because this is really good for grounding practice and just real nice to do. And then the top of the shoulders. You know, are your bones really close to the surface? If you've got a little bit more weight, there might be more fat there. But even if we've got more body fat, then there's still a certain amount of bone that we can see. And then the sides of the shoulders, going down into the upper arms, and feeling what your upper arms feel like. And then moving down into the elbows, you know, the joints. Joints are really interesting things, the way they're put together and how they act. You got one bone and then connecting in to two bones in the lower limbs, both arms and legs. So that connection point at the elbows. And then the forearms, and noticing your forearms. How do they feel? And how do they feel compared to your upper arms? You know, so that's kind of interesting to note. Coming into the wrists, a lot of bones in the wrist, a lot of smaller bones, as well as in the palm area of the hands. And all those tendons in there, muscles, without getting into all the nerves and ligaments and veins that go through that, but moving through the palms, noticing your palms, and noticing, well, how the inside of the palms feel as opposed to the back of the palms. They feel different. One might feel a little damper. When I get certain frequencies going through my hands, I haven't done this for a while because from more of the hands-on energy healing that I used to do, certain frequencies, there were certain level of frequencies coming through, and I could tell because my palms would feel chalky, just a chalky sensation. And then moving into your fingers, you know, and the bones in there. And yeah, the rotation of the thumbs. That's a really fascinating thing. So there's a lot of flexibility in our thumbs. Noticing your fingernails. You know, when you start to put your awareness on your fingernails, that it might feel like almost like you've got tape on top of your fingers. Kind of a layer of tape or shellac or something. And then the tips of your finger. You got little chakras towards not the tip, but kind of more, a little bit back from the top there. So you might start to notice basically the tip of your fingers. There's like a little tingling that starts coming in there. Okay, and taking a deep breath in and breathing in from your fingertips and pulling that all the way back up into your chest. And then breathing out when you get to the chest. All right, now the chest, front and back. Let's really kind of get into that chest space. And notice as you breathe. So I'm starting to get it warm because I can feel a lot of energy starting pumping through my system here. So this is great. So noticing as you breathe in how your chest is expanding and contracting. All directions, it's like 360 degrees. So see if you can catch that 360-degree movement of the lungs. And really moving your awareness there so that it's like bringing your awareness down. It's like you'll help people do that instead of coming from your forehead, going to because that's an external reference point kind of thing, coming through the top of your head down into your body. So that's going to anchor you more into your being when you do that. Yeah. So yeah, and that's pulling people. That's also helpful because that will pull you out of your frontal lobe area, which tends to be more kind of the thinking, beta frequency thinking mode. So pulling back and down and then dropping down. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Yeah. You guys are starting getting the hang of it here, so that's good. And it's kind of nice to be able to take the time to do this. We don't always have the time, so this is part of the reason for having these little live sessions for people. It gives you the space, it gives you the time. Okay, moving further down to the bottom of the ribs. And noticing, kind of paying attention to that middle section where there's the liver on the right-hand side, then you've got the stomach and the spleen, pancreas on that left-hand side, about that lower ribs and waist area. But notice also when you're breathing what happens to that. You know, those organs start to shift around because the diaphragm moves, and there's that diaphragm, I think it's maybe a muscle. Okay, I'm getting a little weak on my anatomy here, but there's, as the lungs expand and fill up, there's that kind of diaphragm area that expands and pushes down on those organs, and then when the lungs release the air, it goes back up. So they're going to be affected by the breathing too. So see if you can just notice that for a moment as you breathe. And if you're breathing fully, your back is going to kind of expand slightly. And here's a little trick. Okay, so kind of, this is part of, this actually helps you get more into your body. So that's part of that alignment. If you put your hands, so, and stand up a little bit, basically you're going like this with your thumbs on the back side, or you can, if you can comfortable, switch around, but so that you have contact on the back side. And as you breathe, pushing your breath against that. So that will help you to breathe more deeply into yourself there. And then bringing your awareness inside and noticing how that breathing action impacts the, ever so slightly, how everything starts to shift and float around. So if there's a lot of tension, all of that gets, so as you come into yourself and come into your being, come into that alignment, becoming more present in your body, everything relaxes and everything can just float and move with more ease with the breathing. And it's nice to have that little either thumb or her hands, but with that reference point where you're pushing against your thumbs or hands, depending on how you have your hands placed, but on your waist. And you can do that to help yourself train to breathe more correctly, more deeply. Okay, then moving down into the lower abdomen. So below the bottoms of the ribs, that's all that is basically the digestive organs. The kidneys are about waist level on the backside. And there's the digestive organs in the bottom of the pelvis. There's the bladder. There's the sexual organs. And so there's that whole cavity in there. Sit with your intestines. Boy, the intestines hold a lot of emotional stuff. Kind of everything in our body does, but this is kind of one of those prime areas. So let's give a moment to our lower part of our lower half of our abdomen here. And again, so let's bring people, all right, back, helping you drop even more back away from that forehead and down. There we go. Down into the lower abdomen. And letting your awareness kind of feel into that. So it could feel a little murky. Antoinette, yay, Tony. Hello, blessings, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So we're just going through the body and getting nicely grounded. This is a very kind of grounding session today. So we're down in the lower half of the abdomen, just putting our awareness on the lower half of the abdomen and feeling that area. So feeling the intestines. So let's focus a little bit more on the intestines right now. So they might feel tense. They might feel funny. You might feel some other stuff. Also, there's the intestines and then there's the space around the intestines, and both will hold a lot. So just kind of bringing your awareness there and just gently being present there. That's all you have to do. And you might notice some tension coming up in that. Let's see, I'll check on the group here. Yeah. So breathing into that, Catherine, I can see that there's stuff for you in there. So if you kind of have a sinking feeling about flying, that could be part of that. So let's shift that for you. Yeah. So one thing to do is when you notice, bringing your awareness into that lower abdomen, and you kind of start having a feeling come through, or maybe all of a sudden your mind is going on some thoughts about something. You're like, where did that come from? Maybe you get an image of someone, a friend or family or whatever. Just say, well, that's fine. That's not me. And coming back into myself now even more deeply. That's just releasing. So that's something that was there. That's one way that, when you're releasing something, how that can show up. Let's see how everybody else is doing. Yeah, Lionel, I'm going to work a little bit on you too. It feels, so it's kind of the feeling of dryness with you. And that's not wood. That's interesting. It's kind of the feeling of wood. So there's a certain stiffness in that area. So let's work with that. Let's work to open that up too. Yeah, Tony, your stuff is coming up too. I'll work on that. Clearing through. So Lionel, just kind of breathe into that. It feels like as you bring your awareness there, you're real good with that. That really is helping to soften that area. Okay, Tony, let's see what's coming up with you. So it's interesting because I was just mentioning this earlier, but it's like there's a sense that your intestinal tract itself is pretty decent, but then it's the space around it. So let's work on clearing that. I fell asleep and just woke up. Yay, good. Been heavy. Well, we're still, Bob does just coming back. That's good. You just went in deeper so that your spirit could clear out more deeply. So very nice. We're just in the lower abdomen. So Tony, yeah, back to Tony. So everybody just kind of breathe into that lower abdomen and really putting your awareness there. And what happens when we work as a group that way is like this way, is that everybody else who's doing that will help also, it supports everybody. And then, yeah, okay, let's shifting some stuff for Tony here. Yeah, just some old patterning there. And we don't need to get into what it is, but let's just create a little bit more space. Oh. Yeah, there we go. So that's lightening up for you. Let's see where that's going. Okay, that's going a little bit lower. There's some, still working on Tony a little bit more specifically here. Oh, that's gonna go, okay. So that's actually taking me into the lower pelvic area. And that's basically our physical identity. And physical identity means being in physical form. So that's the seed of that physical identity. Yeah, so I'll get to that in a minute, Tony, for you, what I'm seeing. Okay, let's see, anybody else needs attention here? Harold, I'm going to work on you a little bit too. That's not there's not much, but there feels like there's still some little pieces that are kind of just in there that we can shift out for you. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Just creating more space. So just releasing some. Oh, yeah. Well, just some old stuff, you know. We're always in the process of clearing out things to lighten our load and move up. So very good. Yeah, that feels a lot more relaxed in there for you, Harold. Okay, so we're going to come in now into the lower pelvic area. So the sexual organs and that whole pelvic floor, because that's a really important place. Having hip replacement in April. Wow. Okay, there we go. So we'll see if we can just help kind of open up that area to make that more easeful for you. So, okay, yeah. So everybody, yeah. So let's all take a nice deep breath into our Melinda. Oh, hi, Melinda. Thanks for joining us. Yes, welcome. We're just kind of catching Melinda up here. We've been going through our bodies, really coming into our bodies, and we're now down at the pelvic area, the seat of the physical identity. So nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, our little sanctuary for being and coming into being. So everybody take a nice deep breath into that lower area. The sexual organs, there's the bladder is in that area too, part of the intestinal tract, lower intestinal tract. And really see if you can just relax into that. Okay. Okay, Tony, what's coming up is your left hip. Like, I don't know if you could be getting operated on your right hip, but it's causing the left hip to have a lot of stress. So there's fear in there, and it might not have anything to do with being fear of the operation, but it's that hip replacement, but just old stuff. Yeah, it's old stuff, really old stuff. So everybody, yeah. So let's all kind of As we take a nice deep breath in and really bringing your awareness into your hips. Yeah, Tony, it's almost like the way it looks like energetically and at frequency at that deeper level, that non-physical level. It's there's not the flexibility that's needed in there. So let's see if we can just help shift that for you some more. And just keep breathing into that area. Notice, okay, so let's everybody put your awareness into, there's the sacrum on the spine, and then it goes into the tailbone, to the tip of the tailbone. Just kind of breathe into that. Breathe into your sexual organs. You know, male and female, we just have been so bashed with our physical and sexual identity. So both sides are deeply, deeply wounded. So a lot of pain. Let's just help to just release that. Yeah. Wow. And with the women, I see some of that wounding is also through contraception use that just was irritating to the vagina, to the uterus, to the cervix area too. So let's clear that out. And there's also from past lineage. I mean, there's some horrible things that have been done out there to keep women from having sex, like literally putting a shard of glass in the vagina of the woman to keep her from actually having sex, because then that cuts her up, but then it also cuts up the guy's penis. So I mean, that's horrible. So so there's some old history here that's coming out because we all carry that human experience within us. So let's release. Let's get some release going out of there. Yeah, there we go. And this is not about men doing this to women. I want to clarify that because I can kind of feel some shame and guilt coming up, like for the men here. It's about what we have done as humans to distort ourselves, men and women, and what we have done to other humans. Yeah, and I'll leave it at that level. So we can just release those emotions. Yeah, there we go. Wow. So that's actually, we're working our way down the legs. So that's kind of starting to open that whole area from the hips on down. Yeah. Yeah, Tony, I see some trauma with you. Oh, yeah, there's some other. Okay, not just Tony. I see that. Yeah, with Bhavna. Melinda. Yeah, Melinda, for you, I have the sense that it's further back, so it could be that you're not aware of it, or it's coming in through your family line or from lineage, kind of thing. That abuse of the sexual identity. So it's not necessarily sexual abuse or sexual assault or rape that happened physically, but it's even just in that communication that happens at that non-physical level, and getting hit by that. Yeah. So clearing that up, and just because we are physical beings, but we're this non-physical. We are these non-physical beings, these spirits, and so we pick everything up. That communication happens before we are physically aware of that, and so just clearing that stuff up, so we don't have to go into that. Yeah, good. Yeah, so that's starting to. So let's come into those hips and those thighs. So everybody's kind of moving down. As that area gets cleared up, helping to move down. Yeah, that's starting to feel better. Lots of goosebumps, random twitches and quick pains while brightening, spreading through legs and groin. A lot of clearing. Yes, good. God, we all need this, don't we? Oops. So even if I'm picking it up through one person, it's really coming up through for everyone because we're just human. Feeling cold in my feet. Okay, well, we're gonna get those feet warmed up by bringing our awareness down into that. So let's come into the knees too. The knees are real delicate areas. Yeah, good. And they carry a lot of weight, and if we're not strong in our core, so I mean physically strong, but if we're not really present in our core, the knees have to hold up the whole weight. Oh, yeah, there we go. So when we lighten up all that baggage from up above, yeah, a lot of good clearing happening here. Whether it's non-physical or that physical baggage, that extra weight that we carry, that's going to impact. That's really going to stress out the knees. So we're really working on that non-physical. Catherine's cute. She goes, Bhavna, wow, that was deep. And I guess with other comments, and Catherine just said, here, take my blanket. So let's really breathe into those knees. Let's bring in those knees, that awareness into the knees. Very special joints, and they help us do a lot. Yeah, and then coming into the lower legs. Into the legs, yeah. Into the calves, feeling the calves. Yeah, there we go. And the ankles, other really big joints because they also carry a lot of weight from the body. And we always think like weight when I'm talking, when I talk weight, I don't mean physical weight. I mean weight like all around. That physical aspect is just a reflection of the weight that is being carried around at that non-physical level, all the garbage we're holding on to here. So just allowing ourselves, that clearing at that non-physical, that will impact everything. So those ankles, yeah. There's a lot of bones because there's an interesting formation of bones in there because the rotation, just like the rotations of the wrists, very unique. And then the feet, like the hands, also have a lot of joints. Okay, let's check out to see how people are grounding. So at that chakra level, the energetic level of the person, you've got feet. You've got major chakras in your feet. Well, they're not the 7 major chakras, but you've got good chakras in your feet. So soles of your feet. So really bringing your attention, your awareness to the soles of your feet. And notice how your feet sit on the ground, on the floor. Do they feel like they really sink into the ground? And it's going to be less pressure if you're sitting than if you're standing. But notice how they feel. Do they feel like they're really coming into that ground? Or are they kind of floating off the ground? Yeah. And just allowing yourself to really come into your feet from your heels, soles of your feet, the top of your feet, your toes. Okay. And Notice what your feet are touching. So there's the skin that are touching whatever you're wearing. It could be skin, it could be like shoes, or it could be just right on the carpet or on the floor, on the ground, when, depending on where you are and how warm it is or what you're doing. And notice that. Notice your body and whatever your feet and your body, whatever that's touching. Okay. And at that non-physical level, okay, you've got this pedestal that your feet will be on. And that connects you down to the core of the earth. So seeing that your feet are on this pedestal, and if you're sitting down, for me, when I'm sitting down, I get like my butt's also on this pedestal. It kind of takes that form. And then that drops down into the core of the earth. Let's really kind of drop everybody down here. Yeah, really connecting all the way down. Let's keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah, even further than you think you need to go. There we go. Melinda, I'm going to pull you down a little bit more too. We're just going to get everybody anchored in really solidly here. So this is the practice session. That's what we're here for. So I'm just kind of that guide or that mentor to just like get you locked in. Okay, I'm just going to keep working on this until I see everybody. Some of you are further in than others, so I'm going to just get everybody just moving everybody further down. So just keep breathing and just drop your awareness down to the core of the earth. We're getting there. Yeah, we're almost there. So just a little further, dropping down and slowly pulling people gently down, kind of everybody. Okay, there, that's better. Breathe into that, really feel that. Notice that connection right there, because it's in deeper than it was a minute ago. Notice how that feels. Okay. I feel sideways. Okay, just keep focusing on the core of the earth. Let me see what's going on with you. Okay, you're used to being off center, so that's why you feel sideways, because all of a sudden, yes, exactly. Maybe I was pulling. Is the comment. So yes, it's like you've got a habitual pattern, and then this is pulling you more straight, and all of a sudden you're noticing. It's like, oh wait, there we go. Okay, so that's okay. We've got these habits. I feel like my right side is towards the earth. Yeah, quite a difference, narrow feeling. So yeah, very good, Tony. Yeah, yeah, there is going to be that sense of just narrowing in, and the more aligned we become, the more the narrow, and it's also the narrower the path. So that's a really good point. I can come back to that in a minute. So Catherine, I feel like my right side is towards the earth. Okay. Really just focus down, focus on the core of the earth and going straight down. And you might feel more one side than the other, and just it kind of like, okay, I'm seeing that, and just come into center. Yeah. I feel like I'm there, then again, away a little. Yeah. So there's a little bit, so you're here. So, I'm glad you're here, Melinda, because you're really this is sort of like a practice space, and this is part of a little bit of how I work with people. Also, some more kind of like a coach, mentor, guide, however you want to call it, to really help people. So let's see what's going on with you. I will get back to what I was saying for you, Tony. Let's see, Melinda. Yeah, so there's a little hesitancy is what I feel, and this unsureness, because this is like, well, I've never been here before kind of feeling. Is it okay? So that's all right. Just kind of notice where you are. If you come back up, it's like, okay, yeah, so I just pull that back up. It's sort of like coming back up and catching your breath and then going for another round, of practicing that, the swimming, for example, practicing the breaststroke. And then you stop for a minute. It's like, okay, let me go in a little bit. So that's my sense of what's happening with you. Let's see if I can help you with that a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna actually come up to your solar plexus. Just keep aiming for that core. And let's open that up for you. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. You know what happens? Okay, so there's Tony and there's Melinda that brought up some very good points here to mind. So Melinda, so what happens with when we're growing up, when we learn to do things, and so this applies to like love, to everything, is that, and I bring up love because this is a key thing to understand in terms of relationship, is that we grow up in a certain environment. And so if we're learning how to be grounded, and it's not like our parents are going around saying, okay, this is how you ground. But as children, as infants, as babies, as toddlers, as we're growing up, we have that looking around at our families and how are they what are they doing to be on this physical life. And there's this inherent knowing, subconscious knowing of things are supposed to be a certain way. Oh, good. Yeah, that's the shaking sounds of your breath felt good. So, yeah, it's interesting how that happens, how that comes through. So we look around and we kind of like, okay, that's how I'm supposed to ground. But at the same time, this is what love is. But at the same time, we're getting hit by two things. It's like, okay, well, they love me, but they're also acting this way. So what happens is those two things get locked in together. And so that's sort of what I'm seeing going on with the grounding, is you kind of learn to be real present, but it was conditional. It was like a conditional love, a conditional present. It's like, okay, to be present in the world, to be really present physically in my physical environment. And there was also this kind of meshing that happened there wasn't that purity there for you. Ugh. And it feels like the grounding for you now, Melinda, and just that piece and the grounding means really being fully present in your body. So it feels a little bit more relaxing. I think for one thing, it's because, you're in a group of people that are kind of all focused on the same thing, understand things the same way, and you're getting that support. So it feels like it's kind of feeling comfortable. And Tony, okay, I want to get back to Tony's comment, because this is a really, really great thing that she's pointing to in her comment. She says, again, quite a difference, narrow feeling. Matthew, hello, Matthew from Hawaii. Wow, joined in we're still here, so come on in. We're just getting into our bodies, getting grounded. So just kind of relax and come into that alignment. And I was just about to say a piece about what Tony said about quite a difference, narrow feeling. So as we come more into that, our beings, especially when those of us who are used to being further out, energetically, or when we start to pull in, so there is that narrowing feeling, and we need to get to that narrowing feeling. We need to get into that alignment, because that narrowing feeling is about really coming into that full alignment with ourselves. So I'm going to do this for everybody. Yeah, that'll be good for you, Matthew. Feels like you can use some of this, so that's good. And there's what it mirrors, that narrowing, what it mirrors is the path that we're on. So it's sort of like this triangle. And when we're at the bottom of the triangle, we just kind of get started on this awakening path or just this life path. There's center line, and there's a wide range that we can move in either direction, and we won't get lost. The further up we go, the narrower the triangle becomes, you know, and the triangle, the sides of the triangle are about how far off from center we can get without messing up. The further up we go, and the further up we ascend, also the further, and the more awakened we become, and the higher we evolve, the higher vibrational frequency. All of those things, they're all kind of synonymous with each other. The less we have. So coming into that narrowing down feeling of becoming real center line will feel like just narrowing, but it's good to really come into that and really connect to that. So let's kind of come into that place now and that full alignment. And if you want, you can focus on your spine, and that's good, especially for people who have tendency to just be kind of more out of body, to really focus in on your spine. And really narrow in. Yeah, there we go. And that's also clearing, okay, Matthew, that's clearing some stuff off for you, so that's good. That's why you showed up. So great, glad you made it. Really just imagining, really coming into that center line. You know, you can imagine a rope, and if you're comfortable with the rope, you can imagine a smaller rope, thinner rope, to really come into really closer into alignment. And then the other piece with that is that it's about coming into more aligned with time-space, meaning more aligned with the present moment, and feeling that line going all the way through. And if you're focused on your spine, that's fine. Noticing your spine, you know, top to bottom. And that going, dropping down, all the way down to that pedestal. And in that place, so I'm going to give you a question you can ask yourself. So just ask yourself that question. How can I align to my spirit even more strongly? Okay, or how can I align to my higher self, my pure presence? It's good to use terms that you don't have associations with, because just to kind of clear things up, or also to switch around the terms. So how can I align to my spirit even more strongly? There we go. And what that does, okay, so I know some of you I've worked with, and so it's like, how do I connect to my purest source? Or how do I connect to pure source even more strongly? It all comes down to the same thing. So what happens when you make that statement, when you say that, it starts this resonance from that really core alignment that vibrates out, and that starts to shift what needs to be shifted so that you come into a deeper alignment. So taking a nice deep breath in from the core of the earth, pulling that all the way through to the top of the head, Holding that for even just a count of 1 or 2, and then releasing and coming more centered. And kind of feeling that stillness. There's a quiet that starts to come in. Even if there's noises around you, kind of underneath, there is that stillness that's there. And you might also hear, sometimes I'll get when it's really aligned, there's the like a frequency buzz, a tonality that starts coming in that I hear at that non-physical level. Okay, a lot clearing up from the group, so just keep focusing on that and I'll clear up more of the space there. So good job, everyone. That was good. Good work. A lot of good clearing for everybody. Very nice. Now, isn't this fun? I don't know. For me, this is fun. I love doing this. I love doing this, and I'm really happy to have people join in because that makes it even more fun. How's everybody feeling now? If you can just comment in on the chats there. Everybody looks a bit brighter. So as I'm talking, yeah, feel free to comment. I hear that frequency buzz too. Yes, I'm guided to do exercises and focus like this almost daily. Excellent. Oh yeah, good job. Much more relaxed here. Really good. Good to hear. Yeah, and that frequency buzz is interesting because it's not like I hear it all the time, but it does come in all of a sudden. It's like boom. Thank you for offering your gifts. Thank you for showing up, Melinda. Catherine, more relaxed here. It was fun for me as well. Yeah, awesome, Melinda. Centered, yay. Pressure in my lower back. Okay, let's just take a deep breath. Yeah, it's almost like you've got a balloon in there. That's interesting. What is that going on? Let's see if we can shift that for Bhavna before we sign off. There's a little bit of a holding pattern in there. Okay. All right. Spot on. Thank you so much. When drawing in from center, it seemed more forceful. Oh, interesting. Okay, good. Yeah, very good. Glad that was helpful, Tony. And thanks for showing up. I try to call the number I have for you, but I don't know if that I got you or not. So I'm still at my 810 number. If you feel like chatting more or not, either way is fine. I saw a deer the other day, so I was thinking about you. I was up in the woods up here, and I saw some deer, so I was remembering the deer around your house. But okay, so guys, website is gonna go up next week. I'm gonna have a thank you, Harold. Yes, thank you. I'm gonna have a launch party next week. Not quite set on the time yet, but I will post it and send out little announcements. So it's going to be fun. I'm going to have people come on and talk about their experience. Not so much about me, maybe a little bit about the products, but also just in general about working, frequency work and doing this deeper work and helping themselves go forward. And then I'll also talk about there's a Pure Life Awakening Intensive that I've put together and we just took our first group through. So Lionel and I will come in and talk a little bit about that. It's an amazing program that I feel like Spirit is bringing this through us because I'm just amazed at being at doing this myself. But just a way to reset your whole life and really get that experience of the pure stages of life. So experiencing what you experience, but also then experiencing the what it would be like to go in a pure state or the pure family, all of that. So on the pure level. So we'll be talking about that too. There'll be some prizes. I'm going to do some giveaways for people, and so just to get the website up and going. So I hope you can join us for that. I will be sometimes next week, probably at the end of next week, and I'll keep everybody posted. Yes, Lionel says yes. Come to the talk. And it will be it will be we'll be doing it this way, so it will be on Facebook and on YouTube also. So I know some of you are not on Facebook, and that's all right. It's going to be on YouTube too. So yes, looking forward to that. All right, let's take a nice deep breath in together. Come into that deep place. Ask yourselves one more time, how can I align to my purest presence even more strongly? Ooh. Feel that alignment just ever so much, just coming into more alignment there. There we go. Coming into what you're sitting on or standing on, dropping all the way down to the core of the earth. Opening up your eyes, looking around if you've been with your eyes closed. Congratulations. I don't see it yet. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Melinda. The announcements, I'm going to be announcing it I'll post it. My website, is not up yet, not live yet, so I will turn it on, so to speak, at sometime next week. I want to get my stuff organized here for the launch party. Woo! So thank you all for showing up. It was great. It was a lot of fun, as always. Every time it's different. And I know some people have listened post facto, so afterwards have gone to the recording and seen this. I watched it after the fact, so not live, and also get a lot out of just the process. Every time it's different. I don't see it yet. Okay, so thank you for saying that. My website is unboundedandfree.com. It's on the screen, but it's probably kind of small. So let's see if I can turn on the caption, since this is what I do this for. There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better and bigger to see. So, all right. And right now it's the first and third Wednesday of the month at this time, 4 p.m. Eastern. At some point, we'll start doing it weekly, especially when there's more people and the demand grows for that. But for now, we're good on the first and third Wednesday of the month. So thank you all for showing up. And until next time, and wherever and whenever. All right, take care. Thank you, Harold. Wash hands, Catherine. Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. Bhavna says thanks everyone, and thank you all.